Welcome to Daily Dose Radio, a 5-minute devotional podcast studying the Psalms verse by verse. Broadcast from the ever-beautiful Sharonville, Ohio, on the sunny side of Cincinnati. Hey friends, welcome to Daily Dose Radio. This is episode 340 in Volume 2, and we're studying this week Psalm 57. It's 11 verses long. We're going to study the entire psalm this week. I hope you'll join me every day. This is a beautiful song of David. Actually, it's a miktam of David. And this we have some more historical context in this particular psalm. The introduction tells us that this was written when he fled from Saul in the cave. So it's a do not destroy psalm. There are 3 of these, actually 4. We have Psalm 57, Psalm 58, Psalm 59, and then Psalm 75, all of which have this same designation, do not destroy. And when we think about the incident when David encountered Saul in the cave, we realize that that's what he told his men not to do. He told his men not to destroy Saul. So this is a song of mercy, and it's all about the great trust and love that David has for the Lord, even though he's being pursued by his enemies. Great faith is expressed here. I hope you'll join me all week as we look at this wonderful psalm. And today, let's read the first 3 verses, verses 1, 2, and 3. Ready? Be merciful unto me, O God, be merciful unto me, for my soul trusteth in thee. Yea, in the shadow of thy wings will I make my refuge, until these calamities be overpast. I will cry unto God Most High, unto God that performeth all things for me. He shall send from heaven, and save me from the reproach of him that would swallow me up, Selah. God shall send forth his mercy and his truth. So David is hiding from Saul in the cave, and Saul goes hunting for him. You can find this story in 1 Samuel chapter 24. Saul doesn't know that David's hiding from him in the cave, and he goes into the cave to use the cave as a bathroom. So he goes in there to relieve himself. He happens to wander into the cave where David and his men are hiding, and the men of David say to him, here's your chance. He's by himself. We outnumber him. Let's kill him. And David tells them, no, you're not going to do that. And then he cuts his skirt as he's relieving himself. Somehow David gets close enough to cut his skirt, and then after he leaves the cave, David comes out and says, I could have harmed you. Look, I cut your skirt. Here's a piece of it in my hand. So this is all about the preserving work of God. Be merciful to me. So again, we have this cry, very first thing in the psalm, be merciful. My soul trusts in thee. In the shadow of thy wings will I make my refuge. And then we have this very telling piece here at the end of verse 1, until these calamities be overpast. So what calamities is he talking about? Well, I think he's talking about Saul pursuing him. I mean, that would be a horrible thing, right? He's got a death sentence on his head. Saul wants him dead. So he says, I'm going to trust in you until all this be overpast. I will cry unto my God, unto God Most High, unto God that performeth all things for me. He shall send from heaven and save me from the reproach of him that would swallow me up. Who's the him there? The him there is Saul, right? Saul wants to swallow him up. So he knows that God's going to send from heaven and save him from Saul's hand. And then we have a beautiful Selah. So we take a break, and then we say, God shall send forth his mercy and his truth. Because that's how he's going to save David, by mercy and truth. And surely he does. Because when we look at the record, we know that Saul never can touch him. He gets close a couple of times, but he never does. And so the Lord mercifully protects David, and David faithfully adheres to his faith and to his God. He adheres to the things that he believes in. He doesn't turn away from it. He doesn't, when he has the opportunity and his men say it's time to kill him, David says, oh no, we're not going that way. Well, join me again tomorrow. We'll look at verses 4 and 5 on Daily Dose Radio. Thanks for listening to Daily Dose Radio. I'm David Smith. The music today has been performed by the Bluegrass Experiment. Thanks again for listening. I'll see you next time on Daily Dose Radio.